It's the In Wheel Time Car Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Today, coming to you from the confines of the luxurious Studio A in Texas, USA. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong, we need more Jeff Zekin.
We do.
And I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks for joining us today. Let's go right to our next guest. His name is Mr. John Kraman, and John is with the Mecum Auto Auction. John, it's always good to see you, sir. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday. I see that your hair is a little bit messed up. You must have just got out of bed.
Hey.
What hair? You guys know something that I don't?
Well, I'm just teasing. You know that.
John and I have the same barber.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's great to see you, man. How have you been?
Oh, man, all good. You know, it's just really interesting, guys, that the interest during this kind of unprecedented time for all of us in collector cars in general has just been off the charts. And I think just to kind of lead this thing off with an initial observation, and that is these cars, vintage cars, late model, performance cars, everything really from A to Z is just a really great way right now to distract us, to divert us from some of the troubles that are going on with the world, and to be right in the middle of it, obviously covering the action for Mecum on NBCSN, being a part of the world's largest collector car auction during this past year and a half or so it's been a challenge, but it's been an exhilarating ride, and I don't think there's any sign of it letting off the gas.
So, John, what's changed? Why all of a sudden this ginormous thrust of interest in auction cars and auctions in general, but Mecum has gone through the roof? Right.
Yeah. Let me just give you just so that people can understand exactly just how wild this market is. Mecum's been around since 1988, so it's been about 34 years. And during that time period, any 12-month time period in the company's history, a really strong 12-month period would be about $400 million in sales. So strong numbers. In the past year alone, we did $500 million, an increase of $100 million in sales. Huge, significant number. Some of that is due to an increase in cars, due to an increase in a higher sell rate, but most of it is due to an interest in the increased value of collector cars, and that's tying right in with what we're all experiencing with late model used cars and with brand new cars on the showroom floor. It kind of goes hand in hand. And again, I think it's because collector cars, having a cool car, the research of it, the owning of it, the cleaning of it, the driving of it is just a great way to safely spend time during what I'm referring to as the pandemic era.
John,
distractions.
It's distractions, obviously.
Right.
Do you think any of that is actual investors, like you read about people investing in fine art, or do you really think it's more of somebody that wants to enjoy it at some level?
That's in the collector car world, that's always a question. What percentage is being driven of the market is being driven by enthusiasts versus what is being driven strictly by investment, which is really kind of a cold way to enter and enjoy what I consider to be a very passionate hobby. And I think it's probably a combination of the two. For an investor, dealing in collector cars is a very cool, trendy way to spend a little bit of extra disposable income, some investment income. But it really, on the other hand, my thought is it's really being driven by the individual or the collectors that have just said, I'm not going to wait anymore. Now's the time. And I'm going to proceed, and I'm going to get the car that I always want. I'm not going to put it off anymore. I'm going to finish up a project that's been out in the garage or in the workshop. Feedback from many of the aftermarket suppliers, most notably Rick Schmidt from MPD, National Parts Depot, Wade Kawasaki, the guy that heads up Coker Wheel and Tire, all having record years as well, as people are really putting priority on getting projects finished, acquiring cars of their dreams. And because the market is on fire right now and there's been so much notoriety over it, frankly, it has drawn in a lot of investment interest as well. Myself, I don't look at it from an investment standpoint, but I can understand how some might maybe start dabbling in that now because it's out there in front of us.
John, we talk about the auction itself. Those are the buyers, but I think that we need to talk about the sellers. And do you think that some of the reason that you've had such interest in the buyer's market, if you will, is because there are sellers out there that are going, hey, you know what, I can't afford the car anymore, or I need the money, I've been out of work, because you're not going to have the buyers if you don't have the sellers. And I see a lot of cars that are actually going to auction for the first time and not just a constant rinse cycle, if you will, going through. Do you feel the same way?
Oh, absolutely. You know, our role as the big auction company is to generate consignments. You know, nothing happens without inventory, without consignments, handling roughly about 30,000 a year. But on the other hand, obviously the buyers have to be there, the buyer's strength. And it's so strong right now. I'll give you just a quick, interesting percentage. As a reserve auction, with our sellers having the option to put a protected price, they're under no obligation to actually sell the car once it hits the block. Our sell rate, which we monitor, that's our barometer, that's our measure of how well we're doing as an auction company, has been, over the years, has been hovering anywhere between the 60 to 70% range, depending on the auction and timing and other things. During this pandemic era, the past roughly 15, 16 months or so, we've never had an auction under 80%, and we've had auctions actually close to 90% sell rate once again.
That's huge.
Unprecedented. It's gigantic. And I think all of that indicates that not only are we able to bring a lot of great cars to the market from a consignment standpoint, but the buyers are there as well. Bottom line, this is a great time to sell a collector car, and it's actually a better time to buy than you might think, because so many good cars and collections are now coming on the market that frankly probably wouldn't be there had this market not heated up.
And that's one thing. That's one thing it seems like Mecum does, is you draw some of these big collectors that are resizing their collection. I don't know that they're getting rid of their collection, though some of them do. Some of them, I would say, are just kind of resizing their collection. Kind of looking a little bit through your lots at Chattanooga, you have two Shelby GT500 KR convertibles. Holy moly, how do you get two of those so you're not just auctioning off cars? You have buyers of super high-level cars
so that
unicorns. Want you to handle them.
Two unicorns.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the reputation that we've established over a long period of time, as I said earlier, since 1988, allows us really to run the absolute gamut of inventory. So much attention typically is given to the high-dollar cars, the big collections, the two Shelby GT500 KRs you talked about, you know, kind of holy grail Shelbys. But the reality is we're the guys right now that attract the consignments. Sellers, people, potential consigners, they want to utilize us to be able to, hopefully, fingers crossed, get their cars sold. And this is, the market strength is so good right now. The notoriety is so high. The exposure of Mecum Auctions on television, both on NBCSN now, also on Peacock as well, running back-to-back with NBCSN coverage, just further sort of drives the fact that this, number one, it's a strong market. Number two, people are seeing cars get bought and sold on a regular basis, and both buyers and sellers, they want to get on board right now. It's like this snowball effect that just keeps growing and growing and growing. And I just want to say that we're still operating our auctions very safely. We're doing a lot of social distancing. We're following all county or venue guidelines as far as any masking requirements or not, depending, and we've been doing that during this whole entire pandemic process. And I don't know that anybody else has been able to do the kind of volume, 14 auctions a year, under the microscope, under the visibility of, obviously, of our television coverage. But what all that has done, and it has shown that it's okay to buy and sell a collector car at a high-profile auction such as Mecum. And we continue to get the big collections, and we continue to get the investment-grade cars as well as collector cars, all the way down to starting at $5,000.
So, John, let's talk for just a second about the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival and your involvement in that. Is this the first time for you guys there?
Yeah, this is really, it's such an honor for us to be a part of this event. It's part of the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival, a major and growing, really almost a national level car event. It first started in 2019. Of course, we know what happened in 2020, coming back in a big way. There's so much going on. There's street racing. There's a concours d'elegance, lots of celebrities. And Mecum is in there as a big part, holding a really strong two-day auction that's running the 15th and 16th of October. Two-day auction will have over 600 great cars, once again, all price ranges. And to be included and to be a part of such a major, growing, high-profile event, very, very proud to do it. And yeah, you're right. First time ever for us to be in Chattanooga. That one's going to be a lot of fun.
Well,
great city.
Yeah, what a great backdrop and a perfect time of year, that part of the country. We're not gaining anything financially out of promoting it, but I just thought it would be a great trip from Houston, Texas, to go up to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and partake in a 3-day event up there.
Well, take a trailer because you're going to be bringing something
yeah,
back.
Probably. No doubt about that. But
Mecum can handle the transport for you. Just show up and buy. They'll deliver.
The problem that we have been dealing with is their PR team just really sucks. But other than that, that's kind of a behind the curtain kind of thing.
Quote.
Yeah, but at any rate, I'm growing pains with a new event. We had David Hobbs on a couple of weeks ago, and what an honor it was to have him on, and what a great interview he is.
Incredible.
And so I can just imagine Mecum's going to be there. Big celebrities are going to be there. It's going to be a 3-day event that clearly, for the car guy, that be a destination for this time of the year.
Definitely a festival event.
Iconic.
Yeah, and I think I think you said it best with growing pains. I've actually heard that trying to get a hold and get a response from some of the PR folks down there has been a bit of a challenge. They're aware of that, and they are just being overrun with a massive amount of interest for this event. So I'm hopeful that, presuming it goes well this year, I'm suspecting it will.
They'll figure it out.
They'll get their collective act together. And this is going to be established, I think. This will be firmly established as one of those must-attend annual automotive events. Great time of the year, and obviously a great location.
Well, you're a car guy. You would go if you weren't even involved in the Mecum auction. It's one of those things that we all want to go to.
Exactly, and I'm lucky enough, knock on wood, that I'm able to attend outside of the Mecum banner. I'm able to attend a lot of events across the country, automotive events. In fact, last weekend I was just out at Corvette Fun Fest. Mike Yeager at Mid-America, down at his campus in Effingham, Illinois, put on an annual Corvette show. Since the 1990s, my wife and I took our brand new C8 down there, had a great trip, put about 600 miles on it, and hung out with all the car guys. And sometimes I just like to put on my specific brand hat and just hang out with all the regular car
and
folks.
give a dig to us because bragging about your damn C8 and we're all chomping at the bit to get a ride in one.
Well, he listens on the podcast on his vet. I had a question really quick. What do you see? And I'm looking at Conrad's computer here. He's got the lots in front of him. Did you see more of the imports, the Restomods, or the classics? Is there a percentage or a higher percentage of one group than the other being run across the block?
Well, certainly Restomods have become a massive part of the collector car world, and it's a slightly younger generation than what has been the traditional audience, and of course, we're all in favor of that. And when we say Restomod, let's just quickly sort of define that for those that might not know. I kind of consider it to be vehicles maybe from the mid-1950s up maybe until the early 1970s. There's exceptions beyond that, but have been thoroughly updated with modern components. And the good news is, from my perspective, we're not seeing people taking investment-grade original Corvettes or Hemi Cudas or Shelby Mustangs and going the full Restomod treatment. These are typically lesser models that are missing drivetrains that people upgrade, giving these cars a second life and bringing them up to modern standards. Totally in favor of it. But what might surprise you is the original cars from the classic era, the 50s, 60s, and early 70s, they continue to escalate in demand as we're transitioning into a new generation of potential buyer. They're recognizing, I guess, bottom line, just how cool these cars are.
Right.
They want to continue to be a part of it. It's gratifying for us old car guys.
Yep.
Well, and I watch the Mecum Show on MSNBC all the time, and it may be from 2 or 3 shows ago because I love listening to you. You are an encyclopedia of knowledge.
Oh, incredible.
And I'm assuming most of that just comes from your head. I can't imagine you've got a book in front of you. You may have the lot information in front of you, but I learn things about car brands listening to the show and watching the show.
Guys, I appreciate that, hearing that from the car guys. I'll tell you what, the way I describe it now, I mean, this is our 14th year doing our television show. I'm part of the Mecum management team in addition to being the lead TV commentator and analyst. There's a lot of people who know a lot about cars. There's no doubt about that. But I'm just really lucky that not only can I bring some car knowledge to the table, but my love and my passion and my lifestyle, my enthusiasm for all of this, including hanging out with you guys this morning, all of that, I get to share that. And I think hopefully, knock on wood, I get to keep pushing that message forward and to keep spreading the word of just how great it is in our wonderful country to own and operate cool cars. Doesn't matter if they're old or new, imports or domestic. It doesn't matter. It's about the passion of the automobile. And I know we're heading towards electric. It's not going to be an all-electric world, at least not for many, many years. But we're heading towards electric. That's a new, exciting era. But internal combustion engines, the ICE platforms are here to stay for many, many, many years. And I'm going to continue to revel in that just as long as I can with my little modest collection.
Have you started to see some of these EV conversions coming through Mecum yet?
You know, I would have thought that we probably would have seen more in the past. And I think the biggest problem right now, guys, with any type of EV conversion is in regard to the battery packs. Okay. You know, pretty easy to replace a gasoline burning engine with an electric motor. Yeah, there's modules and you know, wiring harnesses that are as thick as your arms. But it really has to do more with the battery packs and the availability. So it has not yet seemed to be a real big trend. I think maybe as we get into more where we're dealing with damaged and wrecked cars, we might see some of those battery and EV platforms being adopted to some vintage cars. But the feedback that I get, bottom line on this, the feedback I get is people seem to really enjoy, if they're upgrading, they enjoy getting one of these modern era power plants and drivetrains that are now so refined, so reliable, so fuel efficient, and surprisingly, from an exhaust emission standpoint, very reasonable as well. So much has been done over the years to blend a ton of power and, once again, reliability with fairly green, not as green as electric, but fairly green exhaust output. And I think that's going to help. I think it's going to be a while before the retrofit in quantity goes to electric. Probably will happen in the future. I think they're going to need to get these batteries smaller, more compact, more efficient, and more affordable. I don't think we're there yet.
Right.
John, it's great to talk to you. And we love having you as a guest on the show. And good luck in Chattanooga. We'll be watching. And we'll be sitting on the edge of our seat because we know that every time that there's a Mecum auction, it's a whole set of different cars, a different scenario, a different backdrop. I mean, it's really going to be exciting for us to see, especially this being a first event for you guys.
Well, as always, guys, always a pleasure. And be safe down there in Houston, and we will see you later.
All right.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Take care, John. John Kraman with Mecum Auctions and NBCSN. So
what a guy.
Yeah. I want to remind everybody that we'd love to hear from you anytime. All you have to do is shoot us an email.
Send us an email. Don't shoot anything. Send us an email.
Send us an email. The address is info
He went there.
at inwheeltime.com. I have here shoot, but, you know.
We need to change your script.
Because it's Texas, man.
Yeah.
Well, there's that. But I guess it's just not politically correct anymore, is it?
Get over it.
Come on, man.
Get over it, Karen.
Karen?
Yeah, I think I'm the Karen of the group here.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Speaking of Karen, we've got some recalls. We got some recalls to tell you about. The Audi e-tron, speaking of electrics, being recalled for possible loss of ABS from the brake booster and its corrosion that apparently is taking place.
Wow.
The 2021 Audi e-tron, if you can afford such a thing.
You've got moisture.
What is it, like $1 million? Anyway, Ford is recalling the Mustang Mach-E for 2021 because of inadequate front windshield bonding.
Ooh, that's a bad thing.
That is a
when
bad
the
thing.
airbag goes off, the windshield just pops out on the hood.
Oh, I was thinking you hit the brakes and it
And
pops.
how about inadequate panoramic roof glass panel bonding as well for the Mustang Mach-E?
It flies off.
It flies off.
So when the airbags go off, all the glass just spits out on the ground.
Well, you don't have to worry about it being injured by flying glass because it just goes away.
Because it's gone.
Yep.
Volvo recalling the S90 for 2021 because the rotor and shaft may separate, causing a loss of ABS.
Yikes. That's not a good day.
Been there, done that.
Yeah,
That's not a good day.
So that's the S90, the XC60, and the XC90. Turn signal may activate in the wrong direction on the Kia Sedona for 2015 through 2017.
So people, well, it's not a BMW because they don't ever use their turn signals.
Good one. Engine damage may cause a stall or
A thermal event.
on the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid or the Hyundai Tucson 2017 model years. Another turn signal malfunction problem with the Ram ProMaster City van 2019 through 2021. Jeep Grand Cherokee 2021. Rear view camera damage. Rear view camera image may not display. Okay. Roof reinforcement may impair side airbags on the Volkswagen Tiguan.
Tiggies.
The Tigsters.
Yeah, the Tigs. Also, before we finish out this hour, I did want to tell everybody about sales, this being the first of the month.
Lack thereof.
Or lack thereof
Oh,
were
my gosh.
the issue. So, global microchip shortage that has left U.S. showrooms bare for months continues to hammer automakers, with Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, and Kia all reporting lower monthly sales again in September, signaling a rough close to the year. The mix of monthly and quarterly reports issued Friday follow forecasts for the seasonally adjusted sales rate for September to come in at around 12.2 million units, a staggering drop from the 18.5 million pace just 6 months ago.
Wow.
J.D. Power estimates retail inventories available at dealers dropped by another 22,000 units to 920,000 in September nationwide. The bottlenecks throughout the production pipeline that have depleted new car and light truck supplies continue to upend the retail landscape, needless to say. Some buyers are balking at higher transaction prices and limited choices and deciding to wait on the sidelines until inventory improves.
You wait a while.
And let me tell you, so my future son-in-law, Aaron, he has a lease on his Audi that's come due, and he was looking for something else to lease.
Right.
And the regular size half-ton pickup truck he discovered is just too darn big. Won't fit in the garage, and that's what he was kind of heading toward. Now, he's in his mid-30s, so he's of that era and generation that, hey, I got this big four-door sedan now. I think I'm going to go for a truck. And then he gets into it, and he's going, well, it's too big. No, I can't. And so he starts looking around, and he's looking at, semi close to luxury cars, some, not Lexus, but
Sport luxury.
Sport luxury, yeah, four-door sedan type stuff. But
there's no inventory.
There's no inventory, and they want his car. And I said, don't fall for that. And so I told him, I said, I think, personally, you'd be better off buying your leased car for now, and hang with it because it's a nice car.
Yeah.
And he knows all the service that's been done to it. It's never been wrecked. He's got history with it.
He's taking care of it.
Yeah. And so that's what he's going to do. He decided that he's going to hang on to it for another year.
Well,
Good for him.
Two things are going on. First off, if you drive by a dealership, you realize they have no inventory.
Right.
So they're not motivated to discount. Because there's no inventory, the manufacturers' rebate programs have fallen off the planet.
Yeah, they're gone.
And their trade-in values are high, but the transaction price is still high. So there's still a kind of a balance
It's almost a loss.
in both sides of that.
Speaking of, with low inventories, automakers and dealers continue to slash discounts. Average incentive spending per new vehicle is expected to fall to $1,755 in September, down from $3,792 in September of 2020, and $4,154 in September of 2019. So, yes. So, in other words, you're going to pay sticker for the car.
And for the month of September, GM was down 33% in sales. mind-boggling.
Wow.
33%. Yeah, it's hard to imagine such a thing.
But it's purely inventory driven.
And it, everybody thinks, okay, well, we're just going to wait until this is all over with and go buy a car. Well, let me tell you something. So the demand is going to be so high, they will still be getting sticker price for cars for quite some time to come, even when they have inventory, because the demand is going to be there, and they'll be able to make some money. And remember, then it comes down to the dealer. They are dying on the vine right now because they don't have any cars to sell. And they still have to pay the electric bill every month.
Yep.
So there is all of that.
And then there's the rental car companies.
Well, rental car companies dumped their cars in the spring of 2020.
The COVID dump.
And that kind of flooded the used car market, but that's why rental car prices are so high as well, because the dealers aren't.
If you can get a rent-a-car, because what I have found out through a friend of mine that is in the rent car business is that they are overbooking rent cars. So you're going to take a trip and you're going to go to Chicago in 4 weeks. Rent the car online, got it. Here's my
scheduled.
Here's my piece of paper. I got it all scheduled. Get there, they don't have a car for you because they've overbooked it.
Didn't that happen to our audio technician, our guru, Mr. Ainsley, when he went on his trip to
Michigan? I think it did.
Well,
yes,
one of the things that happens with that is because you don't have to book a car rental with a credit card. You just book it and show up or not. There's no penalty for not showing up for a rent car.
Well, you can also,
unless you're walking,
buy the penalty. You can also say, I want this car. I am coming to get it.
You can pre-purchase the rental,
All right, time now for a quick break here on the In Wheel Time Car Show, and we'll be right back after these brief messages. Whether you own a newer car or want to keep your older one humming along for a while longer, think of Bayway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Bayway Chevy, and Bayway Lincoln to keep things in tip-top shape. From oil changes to major repairs, you can depend on the highly skilled service pros at Bayway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Bayway Chevrolet, and Bayway Lincoln to perform fast, efficient service to keep your investment running strong. For all your service needs, remember Bayway. Schedule your next appointment online anytime. Bayway, keeping it original. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier monthly car cruise-in, returns Saturday morning, October 16th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and you're invited. Collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and Restomods will all be on display. Lupi founder, car collector, and drag racer Stan Holt brings you the coolest Saturday morning cruise-in, Tailpipes and Tacos. Car show season's just around the corner and time to stretch your car's legs in a fun family event. There'll be plenty of fabulous, fresh, made-to-order Lupi tortilla tacos, hot coffee, and adult beverages, too. This is Houston's coolest cruise-in, Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard just south of I-10 and on the Southwest Freeway in Kirby inside the Loop. Get your ride ready and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise-in, October 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield has moved to a more convenient location. Now you can visit John Gray and his staff of dedicated professionals at their new shop on the South Sam Houston Parkway between Belford and Airport in Southwest Houston. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is the best at paint correction and ceramic coatings. Clear bras and custom wraps are specialties that only Gulf Coast Auto Shield installs with award-winning accuracy, and all their services come with a warranty. Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Porsche, and Ferrari owners depend on Gulf Coast Auto Shield for their specialty services, and you should too. The In-Wheel Time Corvette and Cutlass have both been massaged by Gulf Coast Auto Shield, so isn't it time your vehicle visit their new shop in Southwest Houston? Call John Gray today at 832-930-5655 or visit online at gcautoshield.com. That's gcautoshield.com. Paint, coatings, wraps, and more at gcautoshield.com.